If you think success is only about degrees or experience, I used to think the same way. I believed that if I just worked on my skills and experience, I would reach the success I wanted. But the truth I discovered after many years and thousands of experiences is that without charisma and communication skills, it's impossible to build strong relationships, earn people's respect, or even increase your income. I used to see people who were less qualified than me moving ahead much faster, and it was clear that the difference wasn't in degrees or skills. It was in how they communicated, their presence, and even the language they used without saying a single word. Body language, my friend, is what shows people if you're someone they like and are drawn to, or someone they ignore completely. Back then, when I walked into a place, no one even noticed me. I used to ask myself, why is this happening to me? But when I learned how to control my body and voice tone, I actually started to see more respect in people's eyes, and the way they treated me started to change. The best part, the more I improved in this area, the more I noticed its effect on people. That's why today I'm going to share with you 7 body language secrets I didn't know when I was in your shoes. Secrets that change the way people see me, and they'll change how people see you too if you use them. 1. The steady look. If you think confidence comes from strong words or expensive clothes, you're mistaken. The truth is, there's something much more powerful than all of that, and it gives you authority and impact without saying a word. It's your look, your eyes. Your gaze is the first psychological tool you use, whether you realize it or not. When someone can maintain steady, comfortable eye contact, they send a clear message. I'm confident and ready for anything. But when someone avoids eye contact, they give an unconscious signal that they are either weak, unsure, or both. So why is eye contact this important? Because even without realizing it, people connect eye contact with strength or weakness. When you speak with someone and keep steady eye contact, you command attention without needing to raise your voice. But if you're looking away a lot, even if you're the smartest or strongest person in the room, people will see you as lacking confidence. And when that happens, they won't take you seriously. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. If I keep staring into someone's eyes, won't they think I'm being aggressive? Or what if that causes problems? Look, most guys think they need to stare without blinking to seem confident, and that's wrong. So here's how to do it right. First, your gaze should be steady but flexible. Don't be stiff like a robot, and don't look away every second. Second, use the 70-30 rule in the end. Maintain eye contact about 70% of the time, and for the other 30%, move your eyes naturally. That way, you don't seem too intense or aggressive. Third, don't always be the first to break eye contact. Wait just a moment after the other person looks away, and then you can move your eyes freely. Personally, if I'm holding a pen, I might look at it or at something moving in the room before looking back at the person. This shows that I'm serious and listening, but I'm also in control and relaxed. But listen, eye contact alone won't help if you don't know how to stand in a way that earns respect. So next, we'll move on to the silent stance. If you want to understand the power of your stance, imagine this. You walk into a room with 10 people. One person is standing tall, shoulders back, head held high. The rest are slouching or standing in random, weak postures. Who's the first person you'll notice? Definitely the one with a strong, steady stance. That's why your posture alone can decide whether people respect you or ignore you. But why does it affect how people see you? It's simple, my friend. The human brain is built to read body language before it listens to words. So even if you have the best skills or ideas, if your posture is weak, people will see you as unsure or lacking confidence. And because of that, your words won't carry much weight. But when you stand tall and strong, people will naturally assume you're a leader, even if you don't say a single word. So let me tell you how to build a strong, charismatic stance. First, don't lean to one side, rest your weight on one leg, or try to look relaxed in a way that makes you look lazy or messy. Keep your stance solid. Your feet should be balanced and your back straight. Stand firm, kind of like a soldier, but not stiff. Second, don't raise your shoulders too high like you're tense, and also don't let them drop like you have no energy. The key is to keep your shoulders natural, but just slightly raised. This gives your body more presence. As for your neck, keep your head up, but don't overdo it. Remember, we're not going for arrogance. We're going for strong presence. Third, most men have a problem with excessive movement. They shake their legs, play with their hands, or adjust their clothes constantly. These small movements send an unconscious message to people that you're nervous or anxious. That's why you should reduce your movements unless there's a reason. Here's an exercise to help. Sit alone in a room and stay completely still. No movement for 5 to 10 minutes. Do this every day until you feel like you've trained yourself not to move unnecessarily. After that, start using this in daily life, whether you're talking to people or just waiting in line somewhere. Of course, this doesn't mean you should be completely stiff. It just means that when there's no reason to move, don't. Once you master this, you'll be able to stay calm even under pressure. And people will notice that. They'll see you as someone cool, confident, and in control. But you still won't reach the level of charisma you want unless you learn how to control your hand gestures. So next we'll move on to gestures. Gestures, my friend, are not just random movements. They're a powerful tool. If you learn how to use them right, they can be the difference between someone whose words people remember and someone whose words are forgotten in seconds. So why do your hand movements affect the power of your words? Look, regular guys, when they get nervous, their hands move faster than their thoughts. They start making quick, exaggerated, or even meaningless gestures. That shows people they're scattered, anxious, and weak. But strong people, their movements are slow, calm, and deliberate. When they speak, their gestures are controlled and intentional, and that makes every word they say hit harder. So, how do you control your hand gestures to increase your impact? First, when you speak, don't let your hands move fast or without purpose. The slower your movements, the more confident you appear. This is something you'll see often in great leaders. Second, don't overuse your hands. Too much movement actually weakens your message instead of making it stronger. Only use gestures when you're explaining an idea or emphasizing something important. Other than that, keep your hand movements minimal and calm. Third, don't raise your hands too high. It can come off as overly dramatic or even insecure. It's better to move your hands below your chest level. This makes your gestures look natural and effortless. But here's something extra. There's another secret related to the eyes that helps you appear calm and confident under pressure. Blinking speed. You might have never thought about it before, but how fast you blink tells people a lot about how much control you have over yourself. People with charisma and presence tend to blink less than others. Why? Because they're calm. They're not easily shaken. So why does blinking speed reveal your personality? Because the human brain is trained to read nonverbal signals. Even small changes in how your eyes move send a message to the other person. When you blink rapidly, it's a clear sign that you're nervous or stressed. But when your blinking is slow and steady, people automatically see you as confident, strong, and in control. So how can you control your blinking to build stronger presence? First, when you're in a conversation or a new situation, slow down your blinking on purpose. Just being aware of it helps a lot. Second, observe people who have power and influence. You'll notice their blinking is slow, even when they're in a serious debate or a stressful moment. Their eyes stay focused and calm, and that makes them look confident and powerful. All of these secrets are useful, but if you want your words to have power even without raising your voice, there's one more trick you need to learn: tactical silence. And that's what we'll talk about next. Look, my friend, most people think they have to fill every moment of silence with words, just to avoid any awkward pauses. But the truth is, men who have real influence know something powerful. Silence can be stronger than words. Why is silence considered a secret weapon? Because when you speak and then pause for a few seconds before continuing, you give more weight to every word. People are forced to pay closer attention. The human brain is wired to treat silence as a signal that something important is coming. That's why there's a saying, the calm before the storm. It applies here too. So let me tell you how to use this to your advantage. First, you don't need to answer every question right away. Take 1 or 2 seconds before you speak. This small pause shows confidence. It tells others that you decide when to speak, not pressure or panic. Second, when you're in a heated conversation or telling a story, try pausing right before an important sentence. The other person will have to focus because silence builds a bit of tension and makes the brain wait for what's next. Third, regular people talk fast just to avoid awkward silences. But leaders know controlling the pace of the conversation is more powerful than just talking a lot. When you're comfortable with silence, you show strength that most people don't have. But there's something else you also need to learn: personal space. And that's what we'll talk about next. Look, my friend, most men either get too close and make others uncomfortable, or they stay too far and become invisible. But the person who knows how to control their personal space can make their presence speak louder than their words. So why does personal space show your strength? It's simple. When you're comfortable in your own space and don't invade others' space, people naturally respect your boundaries. So how do you use personal space to show power? First, people who force themselves into others' space are basically showing that they need attention or want to prove something. But confident people, they let others be drawn to them. They don't chase attention, they attract it. Second, when you're standing and talking to someone, don't lean too far forward like you're desperate to be noticed. At the same time, don't stand too far back like you're not interested or like you're scared or disgusted. Stand in a balanced, comfortable way that makes people feel your presence without making them feel pressure. Third, when someone tries to invade your space or speaks to you in an aggressive way, don't step back quickly. And of course, I'm talking about conversations. If someone is going to hit you, that's a different story. See, backing up too fast sends a message. You're unsure or even scared. So instead, stay where you are, keep your breathing calm, and look at them calmly without reacting. That way, you stay in control, and you don't give them the reaction they want. But let me tell you, none of this really works unless you also know how to walk the right way. Now, let's move on to the unique way of walking. Believe it or not, my friend, the way you walk influences how people perceive you before you even say a word. If you walk in a hasty, scattered, or hesitant way, people will see you as lost. But once you learn how to walk in a unique way, you'll notice how people's respect for you increases automatically. So why is walking important? Look, my friend, confident men have a clear, steady walking style with no unnecessary movements. If your walk shows that you have a purpose, everyone will notice it without even realizing why. By the way, every person has a unique walking signature, so much so that even intelligence agencies use it to identify targets. So the question is, how do you make your walk give you presence and respect? First, don't walk too fast like you're in a hurry or anxious, and don't walk too slowly like you're lost or hesitant. Walk at a steady, medium pace as if you know exactly where you're going. Second, don't slouch like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and don't lift your chin too much as if you're trying to look down on others. Stay relaxed, my friend. Open your chest a little because this gives you the posture of a strong and confident person. Third, when you walk with your eyes on the ground, it shows weakness and lack of confidence. So keep your eyes level, not confrontational, but not shy either. And when you walk, your hand movements should be natural without exaggeration and not stiff like a robot. Look, my friend, I've been in your shoes. I knew I had potential, but I didn't understand why some people with the same abilities or even less were ahead of me. The simple difference was that they had more experience in communication with others. Every man has the potential to be influential, respected, and have a strong presence. But the challenge is being aware of everything you do. I learned these secrets the hard way, my friend, and now I'm here to save you time and give you everything you need to be part of the 1% of people who know how to make an impact, build strong relationships, and completely transform their lives. So the choice is yours. Will you start applying these and change your life, or will you stay as you are?